start of the First Dornish War can trace its roots to Aegon's conquest of Westeros. Queen Rhaenys Targaryen was sent to conquer Dorne in her brother's name. Instead of confronting the Dornish spearmen guarding the Prince's Pass in the Red Mountains, Rhaenys flew over the pass on her dragon Meraxes to the castles of Vaith and Godsgrace. She found them abandoned and thus continued her journey to Plankytown, where only women and children remained. When she did eventually reach Sunspear, the seat of House Martel, she found Mira Martell, the aged Princess of Dorne, waiting in her otherwise abandoned castle. Mira defied Rhaenys, despite her dragon, stating that they would neither fight nor kneel. Rhaenys warned the Princess of Dorne the House Targaryen would return with fire and blood. But Mira replied simply, "You may burn us, my lady, but you will not bend us, break us, or make us bow. This is Dorne. You are not wanted here. Return at your peril." Rhaenys departed, but House Targaryen subsequently made no direct attempt to conquer Dorne or its harsh deserts, instead focusing on their main conquests in the heart of Westeros. That was until, in 4 AC, King Aegon I Targaryen, the Conqueror, launched an invasion of Dorne, intent on completing his conquest of Westeros. Although House Will led an assault against the Targaryen forces in the Boneway, the other Dornish lords abandoned their castles, neither willing to defend them nor willing to bend the knee. The first assault was led by Queen Rhaenys. On her way to Sunspear, she seized every Dornish seat she encountered in her path, and she also had her dragon Meraxes burn the Plankytown. While the town itself was burnt to ash, few lost their lives, as many jumped into the river to escape the flames. Meanwhile, King Aegon and Lord Harlan Tyrell fought in the Prince's Pass, facing heavy resistance as their forces were ambushed by the Dornish defenders, who fled and hid as soon as the dragons took to the air. The king's half-brother, Lord Orys Baratheon, led a force through the Boneway, where he also faced similar issues with the Dornish. However, once through the Prince's Pass, Harlan Tyrell was faced with the sands of Dorne, sands he would need to cross if he was to reach his goal of Hellholt. While leading his army to Hellholt, he saw many of his soldiers die of thirst due to the heat and general lack of water. Those who finally managed to reach Hellholt found the castle to be deserted, just like every other castle they came across. King Aegon briefly besieged Ironwood, which was defended by a few hundred old men, boys and women. He found Skyreach abandoned, but at Ghost Hill he was challenged to single combat by Lord Tollan's champion. After Aegon had killed the man with Blackfire, he discovered the champion had in truth been Lord Tollan's mad fool. Worse, Ghost Hill turned out to be deserted as well. Lord Orys Baratheon fared worse in his assault up the Boneway. His army was pelted with rocks, arrows and spears from above, some of them poisoned, while his men were also murdered in the night. Towards the end, the Dornishmen blocked the Boneway on both fronts of Orys' army, and House Will managed to capture Lord Orys and many of his bannermen and knights. They would remain captives until 7 AC. When the Targaryens finally arrived at Sunspear, they discovered that Princess Mira had vanished, but they declared themselves victorious regardless. King Aegon and Queen Rhaenys placed Dorne under the rule of the Iron Throne. They returned to King's Landing, leaving Lord John Rosby as Castellan of Sunspear and the Warden of the Sands, and charged Lord Harlan Tyrell with putting down any revolts that might arise. Aegon and Rhaenys had only just returned to King's Landing when the Dornish rebelled against House Targaryen. From Sunspear's Shadow City, Dornishmen came forth, quickly retaking the castle and killing all within. Lord Rosby, the Warden of the Sands, was captured and thrown from a window atop the Spear Tower by Princess Mira herself. In 5 AC, Lord Harlan Tyrell marched his army from Hellholt, where he had been garrisoned, intent on taking back Vaith and Sunspear, but in the harsh deserts of Dorne, the entire army vanished, and their fate was never discovered, and remains a mystery to this day. Elsewhere, entire garrisons were put to the sword. The knights who had been in charge of the garrisons were horrifically tortured and mutilated. Lord Will, called Will of Will, eventually agreed to ransom back Lord Orys Baratheon and the other captured lords. In 7 AC, terms were finally agreed, and the captives were ransomed back for each man's weight in gold and set free. However, the Will took off their sword hands, so they could never take up arms against Dorne again. Orys Baratheon became bitter and obsessed with revenge, and resigned his office as Hand of the King as a result, stating to Aegon, the Hand should have a hand. Intent on revenge, King Aegon unleashed his dragons once again. The castles who remained defiant were burned again and again, whereupon the Dornishmen retaliated in 8 AC by setting half of the Rainwood on Cape Wrath ablaze, and sacked half a dozen towns and villages in the Dornish marches. In 9 AC, the dragons once again struck, burning several seats, but it was the next year Lord Fowler led a raiding party over the Red Mountains and attacked Nightsong in the Dornish marches, taking its defenders hostage, while Sir Joffrey Dane marched an army to Oldtown and razed the fields and villages nearby, but he was not able to take the city itself, thanks to its huge defensive walls. The Targaryens unleashed their dragons a third time, this time upon Starfall, the seat of House Dane, Skyreach, the seat of House Fowler, and Hellholt, the seat of House Ulla. But at Hellholt, the dragon Meraxes was shot down from the sky, with Queen Rhaenys atop her back. Many thought the dragons invincible. A scorpion bolt pierced the dragon's eye, and Meraxes fell from the sky. Although the dragon destroyed the castle's highest tower and part of the curtain wall in its fall, the death of both the dragon and Queen Rhaenys was the greatest success the Dornish had against the Targaryens. In truth, the First Dornish War ended with the death of Rhaenys, and what came next was something different altogether. Aegon and Visenya, enraged at the loss of their beloved sister, had one thing in mind: revenge, with fire and blood. What would come next was the dragon's wrath.